Hey everyone, and welcome to the Because I Said So podcast, where we take those classic mom sayings and turn them into today's best conversations. Hello, I am the daughter, Didem Nicole.
And I'm Lakeisha, her mother, here to make sure she remembers where she got all of her wisdom.
Okay. Now, today's episode's name is You Think You Grown? Ooh.
But you're not.
But you're not.
Today we're going to dive into the ever-evolving dynamic between teens and parents as young adults begin to crave independence. From navigating the delicate balance of freedom and responsibilities to understanding the realities of adulthood. This tackles the tough conversation every parent faces when their teen declares, "I'm grown." This episode is packed with insights to help parents and teens navigate their journey together. Because there's always a reason behind because I said so.
I know that's right, Mama. But listen, if there's a topic or a question that you guys want to ask us, feel free to DM us on any platform at The Biz Podcast. That is the BISS Podcast. Sorry, y'all. Because we love to hear you guys. And also, please share your stories too. Share your stories with us. Your own please. Because I Said So moments with us on, again, all platforms, or Instagram at the BISS PODCAST. Thank you.
That's right. All right. So before we dive in, I always like to give my disclaimer that every parent and every teen, every family is different. So what works for my household may not work for another, and that is okay. I am simply sharing my experience as a mom. And while I've been through a lot with my own kids, I certainly don't have all the answers, right? Parenting, we know, is a journey that we're all learning as we go through it. So take what resonates with you, leave what does not, and always remember to trust your own what?
Instincts.
That's right, dude. So at the end of the day, you know your child better than anyone else. Mm-hmm. This is just one mom's advice because I said so. Okay.
Exactly. All right, y'all. So grab a snack.
Or, of course, some coffee and relax, and let's dive in.
Because every conversation is better with just a little bit of motherly love. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. All right, so for the first segment, we titled this Adulting 101, aka Teaching Responsibility. So, Mom, how did you teach us important life skills like budgeting, cooking, or even like time management without taking over our learning process?
Well, I pretty much incorporated it into what I was already doing. I would create a budget, and then basically I had you all let me know what was coming up. And from there, I kind of showed you ways to create a small budget, list out the things that you're wanting to do and to try to get the estimated cost of those things. And then I would put that into mine. I would show you guys the line item where your item was in my budget. So you kind of understood as a family how we needed to budget and how you were going to be able to get these things accomplished, whether it was just something for school, whatever it is. This is how it's going to work. It has to work within this budget. And if it exceeds this budget, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Mom is really good with, it's not Google Sheets. That's another version of it. But yeah, Excel. So
same difference.
I won't say Mom put it in my face like do this for budgeting, but me just being able to watch her. My mama was not secretive as far as what the budget was for the home. This kind of helped me be able to see too kind of how to curate a budget, because she was so honest and open about everything. If it's tight, it's tight. If it's not, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Type of thing. So with the Excel sheet, I got to see where all of her finances were going. Even with us, everything was planned. If it wasn't in that plan, like she said, it wasn't gonna make the budget because she didn't have time to plan for it or anything like that. So I feel like that really helped me. Fun fact though, I did say cooking. Mom cooks 4 times a year, and now it's less because we're not there. I would say now it's probably 2 times a year, but mom cooks on the major holidays more so, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and maybe New Year's. Maybe New Year's if we're all together. She'll cook on New Year's. That's a hard
like Easter. Maybe an Easter.
Yes, Easter for sure. She will cook on Easter. However, mom gave me the recipes of some things, but mama, I wouldn't say I was really in there cooking with you, like watching hard, because I was doing my own like little peach cobbler thing. Like I was like, okay, I'll do the desserts, because y'all, so we are originally technically from Chicago. And that's where a lot of our family was. So for holidays, typically it's a big family. We didn't really have to contribute much. When we moved to LA, my 5th grade year, I couldn't tell you the year. Mom probably could. What year?
2014.
2014. When we moved to LA, it was just me, mom, Danielle, Cece. Wait, me, mom, Danielle, Cece. Yeah. So it was us now having to make all these dishes. Really, let me stop saying us. It was mom having to make all the main dishes: mac and cheese, greens, yams, and oh my gosh, were we so grateful every time, because y'all mama can cook. Now she do cook a little differently. We do cheat some things, like for example, yams. I tried to make them, y'all. I'm sorry, mama, I got a snitch. I tried to make the yams over here because I had my own little like Friendsgiving thing. Like I made my own little, mac and cheese, all of it, y'all. I did great. But let me say, so Krista, one of my best friends, y'all. Hey, Krista, if you watch it, I pulled out the canned yams. But y'all, this is what I grew up on. Krista is like, you're not about to make that. You're not about to make that. Mom, she was so serious. I was like, yo, like, I had this since I was like young. Like, bro, this is good. Like, let me put you on. She would not let me. We literally went to the store, had to go buy yams, came back, I had to boil them. She taught me how to like cut up.
Hey, that's a whole thing. That's a good friend.
It's a good friend. I did that again, y'all, with the greens. Oh, mom, you don't want me to go there with the greens, but I actually they let me make the greens with the can, and they didn't even taste the difference. Like they were still good. Nobody even noticed that they were canned.
Because greens. Look, let me just say this. Okay, yes, I'm a millennial mom. Okay, so I was busy working at all times, working, traveling for work. And look, I cherish my time. So if I'm making all the meals, I need some shortcuts. I am not going to be up 3 days trying to cook for them to eat for an hour or two on another day.
Oh, yeah.
Not going to happen. So yes, absolutely. I learned how to take some shortcuts, doctor some things up that existed already. Look, whenever we travel back to wherever the family was, Chicago, whatever, they can have it that way. They can have it the full out, way where everybody, cooks the greens, soaks the greens, For this household, we had two, they want to do activities. I got to cook. They want me to do activities. On top of that, I have to preserve my energy. But was the food good?
It was good, Ma. 10 out of 10. We'll have it again.
I've never had a denial on the food. Now, my dress up game on some food is immaculate right there. So,
all right. Well, this brings us into our next question, Mommy. What are some effective ways you taught us about accountability when it came to our actions and decisions?
Well, I mean, we were pretty open as far as communication already. So I just felt it was important for me to be honest with you, right? So sometimes, how you just want to be right so you can give me an explanation of something that happened with you and your friends, and I would give you something else to think about. You have to think about another perspective on that. Or let's say you were struck, something happened in school where you weren't on top of a task. I would at least... There are times where I did jump in and help, but I let you feel the pain first. I let you feel some of that pain so you understand the importance of it. And then there's some times where I let you take the lesson, where I just chose not to step in those instances where you had to we would then say, okay, so what is it that you could have done so that you weren't stressed out for this assignment?
Yeah.
But there, I will say there are times where I have stepped in probably more than I should have had to step in. And a lot of that was just imbalancing, feeling like you may have learned the lesson and coming in, to try to assist in those situations.
Mom spared me. I thought she was going to bring up this story. We're talking about actions and decisions. So when I was in, I think it was first grade. This is when it wasn't Baddies. This was Bad Girls Club. Bad Girls Club was popping. This is where, like, it was like Tanisha. I loved it. It was, BGC, the OG. So I believe they had released the cast for one of the seasons, and I had, y'all, this is, again, it's like first grade, Lil Denim on my Instagram account. This is when Instagram just first started, getting popular. My at the time was Baby Denim 1212. Baby Denim 1212 post. This is cute, but where the bleep is Pretty Girl Rocky. Like I added her too. Like where the is at Pretty Girl Rocky. Y'all, I come home. I want to say from school. I get in the car. My mom's in the car, all calm and cute, and my dad's on the phone. My dad is never on the phone when I get in the car, so I just knew it was really sketch. Okay. My dad goes up on me. Now later on, I found out that my stepmom snitched on me. It's okay, we still cool to this day. But girl, now that was wrong. But she's still. But in her doing that, it was right. It was right because now looking at it, y'all, if an employer saw that. Are you joking? Like, social media, y'all, is so important because it's like, it's an extension of you. So whatever you're posting is public information, is public knowledge. You're not only representing yourself at that point. If you work for a company, you represent that company. I can't be out here working for, let's say, Instagram, posting some wild stuff. They gonna fire me or they're not gonna hire me. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that was something that was very effective. Because it wasn't a whooping. It was none of that. I think my mom took my phone away though. But it wasn't it wasn't a whooping. It was just like, Dimp, this is wrong. And this is why this is wrong. And this is why you're getting this consequence. Because something else could happen in the future if this wasn't done. So I would say that's a very important testimony or story to actions affecting different decisions and stuff like that.
Yeah. I want to touch on time management. So in regards to time management, oh my God, this is so important when it comes to kids. So for many years, I try to keep the kids busy because I feel like if they're not busy, then they're busy doing something they shouldn't be doing. So that becomes the first part of time management. Like, you have this activity, you need to get your homework done because you have that activity. And then as they got older, it was important as you're giving them these freedoms now, to see how they themselves are managing their time. And now you have also the social aspect, them hanging out. So I think it's important for your kids to get an idea of how long it takes them to complete certain tasks, so that, because otherwise they tend to get, full of anxiety now that they're waiting to the last minute, and that there's time to do everything you want to do. If you handle the business that you're supposed to be handling, so get your homework done. That's part of practicing for your test, right? Studying for your test. Yeah. Then you have that time to hang out without that high level of stress that some kids have. And I can give an example of this with Cece, finishing up her master's degree. And she procrastinated on her capstone to where her last 2 weeks of her master's program, she didn't think she was going to be able to finish, and that was just a matter of really all she had to do was task out her things, so we did take the time, we tasked out everything she had left to do, come to find out some of those things were just a turn, something she had already did in the previous semester just needed to be turned back in, that sort of thing. But just time blocking and organizing your goals, the things that you have to finish. I try to highlight the importance of writing things down, so that you can see it in front of you, and then so that you can make the appropriate time for it. I think that's very key in reducing a lot of our kids' anxiety, because a lot of times they wait till the very last minute and they cram. We all know about cramming, but I think nowadays it just tends to they cope a little bit differently with things than we have in the past, and they have a lot more distractions. So I think it's extremely important for them. So whether it's you teaching them to write it down on paper, there's so many apps also that deal with time blocking and time management. I just think make sure that you're trying to help your teen take advantage of some of these tools or skills.
Well, we're going to go into the last question of this segment, which is, how do you balance giving teens freedom while still offering guidance and structure as they transition into adulthood? And actually, I can kind of start off on this. It's kind of like that, like, it's like high school. I'm not going to lie, like around this time, because you're offering guidance and structure going into adulthood. That's kind of like at this time all like high school is, because we talk about things that is like deadlines, for example.
Right.
Deadlines become important for us now, well, maybe being a college student, for not only assignments, but different tasks that just needs to be done for clubs. It could even be something like, a scholarship or a grant. But there's no late there's no late apps for a scholarship or a grant. You just don't make the deadline. You don't get it, So like those kind of like structures and things are important too. I think at that time, you're kind of going through like the budgeting thing, especially like I know like I don't even know how we're talking about budgeting like senior year of high school, because that's like prom season, that's graduation, that's like where money is just flying out the window.
But that's why budgeting is way more important at that point in time. Yeah, you have graduation and you're prepping for you. If you're going to go off to college, you're prepping for so much at that time. Yeah.
I think really that's it though. Going into college, when you first get to college, you start budgeting without even trying. Y'all, I went to college. I had a little bit of money, but not a lot of money. Y'all, I remember it got to a point I was like, when was laundry detergent this expensive? But it wasn't even that, like, it was great. It was just like at that time with the budget I had, I'm like, how am I going to make this work? Am I about to spend money to wipe my butt or to wash my clothes? Like, what am I going to do? That's just me being dramatic. But for real, y'all, like, it gets to be like that. What about you, Mom? You have any, like, thoughts or views on this?
I mean, if we're talking about freedoms while with guidance, I definitely think like by the time you guys are 12, 13, like the disciplinary part of parenting is what it is. Like, however the hard discipline and all the whatever the fears and respects were established at that point. You guys knew the looks. You knew what all of my looks meant. You knew what my demeanor meant and what might be coming after that. And I think at that point, you guys just had a level of respect where you listened to me. And for the most part, you were obedient. You were children, too. There are moments where you try to do your own thing. But I felt that it needed to be established by that time. And then once you were in high school, it was a hard guidance in the beginning, freshman year, of course, because there's so much coming at you boys. And, now this new level of game on top of, you're already coming from junior high. Honestly, drugs kind of started there. So that was a surprise to me. So just all of this, like trying to, just educate you guys and let you understand the realities of those situations and what can happen, if you don't keep a certain structure, if you don't have boundaries at that point in time. So I just tried to guide you guys hard. And then as you got older, I just softened up how much I was guiding. And I think that's important because by the time you guys became adults, I think we're in that friendship phase of parenting and children. And, I'm mama, but we are, the conversation is a little bit different at this point, is where you're basically kicking the bird out the bird tree and letting them fly. So, I'm here just as a friend, as support, and continuing to support you guys in whatever your dreams are, and maybe helping towards that in a different way. But I do think that there is some guidance that still needs to take place in that transition. And then whenever you guys reach out to me, then I'm here to offer advice if I have some, or just really to help you guys. Sometimes it's just a matter of letting you talk through your own situations or your own problems, and us deciphering, is this really a problem, sort of thing. So
all right, cool. That's the end of this segment.
Yay! Now we enter our second segment, which talks about the myth of I'm grown, the realities of adulthood. And I can tell you, my kids don't quite like adulting at this point. I think they want to go back to childhood. But what do you think? Please. Yeah. So from your standpoint, then, what's the best way to talk to your teen about emotional and mental challenges of adulthood that aren't always obvious? What do you think I've done maybe in those situations, or that I should do?
Okay, so your early college years were, a little bit different than mine, because you had another person to, I guess, worry about or take care of. One thing you've done really well as far as talking to me is enjoying life. And I'm mentioning this because in adulthood, or when you do the whole I'm grown thing, it's when you do the whole I'm grown and I want to work 11 jobs because I'm broke right now, I'm early in college, I'm looking at all of these people wear these crazy designer brands, I'm trying to, play catch up. I think that remembering to enjoy life and just not work. I really wish that I would have listened to that earlier on. I worked a job sophomore year of college, not freshman year. But freshman year, y'all, I thought I was going crazy. I'm okay, I'm broke. I'm asking my mom for money every week for food because I'm tired of cat food. I need my own money. I wanted that sense of me having my own, so that I can help. I'm contributing. I'm helping with something. My mom is literally a single parent, takes care of my tuition, etc. So it's just okay, let me do something. Let me help a little bit. But if I had listened to her earlier, I listened to her this year, and it's only been 2 months so far, but I've literally been the happiest I've ever been. And maybe I needed the time to work a job to really appreciate times like this where I'm not working a job and I can just go full creator mode. Because in reality, when you're full adult and you're not on your own time and you do have other lives to worry about, you can't, I wouldn't have been able to make certain decisions that I made following my passions or my dreams without any fears or any worries. You know what I'm saying? My mom really paved that for me, and for my other siblings. So yeah, Mom, I would say talking, you talked to me about the emotional and mental challenge, as far as being in college, not only taking care of your college self, but taking care of another life, and how you don't want that for me. Not to say that if it does happen for somebody, your life is gonna be wasted or anything like that. That's not the case. I'm just saying she's really, really showed me it's okay to just enjoy your life as a early
adult. As a young adult, as a young adult, definitely. And there are always going to be so many challenges, and right now is a time where you should be getting to learn yourself. And parents, we look at things or moves that we've made as young adults, and you want better for your child, you want better for your children. So I've always, try to talk to my kids about that. When I give you the opportunity to go after whatever your dreams are, I'm suggesting you take it, because you never know when in life you'll get that freedom to just go after your dreams. Yeah. And I can just say that even as a parent, of course, it's I didn't have to defer necessarily my dreams. It just makes it more challenging to go after your dreams when now you're worried about other people. And you're trying to be responsible for other lives. So I do teach them to go after what it is they want. I ended up in a career I love. I thought it was important for my kids to, try to get into something that they love. At least try it, try it out. And, there are things in regards to being an adult, the challenges of, you know, if you regret that you didn't take a certain move. And, you know, I try not to live in regrets. I don't want my kids to have to necessarily live in that space either. So I just encourage them to go after their dreams. If we're you know, in a position where she definitely needs to get a job, I know that she's okay working, like she'll do that. But, you know, I wanted to give her the space, and that, you know, because I was able to at this time to do that, so that she can fully explore what it is that you know, what her dreams are and her goals are. So even this is a part of that for her. She is a creative, and you know, I fully support, you know, the things she's trying to do, as well as my other two kids as well. So
thank you, mommy.
So let's talk about teens earning money. What when you do earn money, so you worked since high school, really, and so what do you think a teen should be responsible to pay for, like more than your own expenses, or should a parent still support you financially?
Okay. Sorry, y'all, this is tough. Okay. So I have been work a job since I could legally work a job. Okay, my mama would tell you. As soon as I could, I did. I worked 2 jobs in high school, thinking I was grown.
That wasn't on me. That was on her.
Yeah, no, yeah, and again, let me say, this was not her. She did not ask me to get a job.
Yeah.
I got this job because I felt like I was grown. I wanted my own freedom. This is why this episode is "You Think You're Grown," because I thought I was grown.
Yeah, she thought she should. Let me just put a disclaimer. Denim has thought she was grown since she was like 7 anyway. So it just only escalated from there.
When teens start earning their own money, I do think that they should spend it on some of their expenses, like nails, for example. I am a nail girly. My mom is a nail girly as well. And as soon as I could, like when I wanted these like little exotic designs, and I wanted my stiletto, you know, a long set, and I didn't want to hear my mom's mouth because she would say she's not paying for that. Okay, girl, fine. I got my own nails done and I paid for them, so she didn't have to say nothing.
Amen.
So I think things like that, you know, that can kind of help. Even with, you know, that kind of helps with budgeting a little bit too. If I know that my nails are going to be probably like $200, okay, cool, and I had made a part-time check that was like $500, okay, cool. I know that I no longer have that $200 and probably some more, so like $250 is gone. So half of my check is gone on nails. Okay, cool. So then if I'm going to go out to a party later on that week, okay, I have $20 for the entry fee for Friday. Maybe I can get some snacks or go out to dinner with my friends the other day. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that it helps. Gas. Oh God, if you are still in LA and you are dealing with those gas prices, I'm so sorry, because that really used to cut into my budget even with the 2 jobs, because I was going back and forth. Like my jobs were not close to each other, and it wasn't really close to where I lived outside of like Chick-fil-A, but Kiss Flock was not. So yeah, that too. Even when you going out to the park, I was driving y'all a lot. So yes, it definitely helps young teens and adults learn budgeting, because you have no choice. If you know you got $200, you know gas is gonna be $70 because you have a big Jeep, but then you want to go out and go eat with your friends. That's $140 gone.
Yeah, real fast.
But
I would say, as a parent, I never expected you guys to pay any expenses in the home. I think your own additional expenses was enough. Now every household is different in regards to that, so if it were other circumstances, maybe that would be the thing, like, you know, we all need to make sure that this is getting taken care of, but that wasn't. So I was more so, make sure you're taking care of all your extras and things that you want to do. Don't come to me for it. So you got it.
Yeah, I would say even like this, when I was at a Kiss Foot Locker, I wanted some shoes, like some more shoes. Y'all, They gave me this black card. I used to be going ham. Mom could tell you. I got my whole shoe game upgraded. But I'm not gonna lie, I became way more appreciative.
You say you're not gonna what?
Not gonna tell a story. Not gonna tell a story. But yeah, when I did that, that taught me just to be more appreciative of things that not only that I was buying for myself, but what my mom was paying for all them years. I was like, dang girl, the shoes are $200. So yeah, that just really helped me be more appreciative in that sense.
Yeah, and that varied per kid too, because like your sister was more of a whole baller's life, so her whole high school career was basketball and anything around basketball. So she did concessions sometimes for some extra change or whatever, but she didn't really hold down a job in high school.
I hated that CC was such a sneakerhead, but no, like a baller sneakerhead, like, cause you know, as a little sister, we want to wear all of our big sister and our mom stuff. So I couldn't wear CC shoes cause CC had the D Rose, the Kobe's. I couldn't go to school like that. They gonna be like, Dylan, what are you doing wearing those?
Yeah, so
Mom, you remember I tried when I was in elementary school. I went to wear school. And they were so big on my foot, trying to wear CC's basketball shoes, trying to play basketball. Gosh.
Wasn't gonna work. When you were a teen, did we talk about the reality of adulthood? In regards to finances, work-life balance, and the responsibilities?
Actually, okay, I'm going to say yeah. Because again, like you pretty much showed us everything. I'll speak for myself. You showed me like a lot, like again, like the budget, Excel sheets and things of that nature, car notes, importance of paying that on time, credit. When we got into that, y'all, we're still into that, and like I'm glad I was ahead, but like it's a lot to consume. So we did do that. But to all parents listening, I would start educating your child on the importance of credit and the importance of life insurance. I only started getting into that because I misworked a job. I was looking for a job and ended up getting into that. But me doing that, in preparing for the big test, I learned a lot about that. And even when I got here and I'm in the hospital and like they're asking for insurance, you know what I'm saying? Like I finally got to know the importance of that and like copay. I will say, Mom, we didn't really get into that, like insurance.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah.
When I was a teen. But you know, and I was like a little bit older and I started to get into that. That was really, really helpful to know what a copay was, to know to look over insurance plan to see like what they cover, talk about routine care, like all that is so important. So parents, if you could start as early as 13, like please do, like teach your kids that.
I agree. I mean, first of all, parents, it's important for us to learn it. And I know a lot of times, we're talking about teach our kids, but I think at this point, if you don't know, I feel like you shouldn't be ashamed. I feel like it's just something when you learn about something you don't know, it's to just get more information about it and then share that. So me, I'm a life learner. So as I'm learning new everything, I'm always sharing with my kids. So yes, when you get into like financial education, then I, take time, I speak to my kids. We have FaceTime calls, all these things where we're talking about it. Discussing it. Some things we're implementing it together or individually or, whatever it is. So I definitely think it's important to continue communicating with your family. I think that we can always learn from each other. I always kick myself in the butt because my son told me to get Bitcoin when it first came out. And I'm like, what are you talking? What is this thing? And it blew up to what it was. So, just things even like that. I just think it's important to leave the communication open. And then in regards to responsibilities, they should already really be learning that as a teenager. Something as simple as keeping your bedroom clean, to, being considerate of others, work-life balance in regards to, you need to work, to earn, money, but you shouldn't be just working to pay bills. It should be more like your business partner. It is more like the thing that you can use to invest into whatever it is you're trying to do in your career, in your life, or at that point in time. So that's what I try to instill in them.
If anybody who's like spiritual out there, I probably should have came with the correct scripture.
She's gonna put it below.
Yeah, I'll put it up here. But basically, the scripture says like you can't have two gods, and it was really talking like you will love one and then hate the other, and just talking about like you can't let money control you, and your love for money, your yearn for money control you. It's one thing to be, I don't know, maybe somewhat motivated by it. And I think it's another thing to be consumed about and to do everything that you do for money. Like that itself is just big. So yeah, y'all, even though I know y'all teens, y'all want to be rich, y'all want the money, you want the drip, I get it. But y'all, it's not worth your mental health.
It's a chase that you'll always continue chasing, and it's like a drug. It's like you'll always be chasing that high. It's like, yes, it felt good the first time you had money, but it's never, I mean, with us being like human and just carnal, like where we're never like satisfied, the number just keeps increasing. So the number is not more so important as the purpose behind it. And then you understanding if you are living in your passion or if you're living in your purpose. But the important thing is just to understand that money is a tool, and it's not everything. It's a tool that gives you access. It may give you convenience, and ultimately it is something that will have ebbs and flows that you should be circulating. And that's a whole other discussion in regards to the circulation of money, in your micro economy as well as your macro. That's a whole other thing that we won't get into in this conversation. But it is not everything. But it is a tool.
All right, now we're in our third segment, which is navigating changing roles. So I want to know from you, how did you establish new boundaries with, all of your kids as we transitioned into adulthood? Especially when we still lived at home with you. How did you establish those new boundaries?
Well, I mean, of course, at that time, the freedoms were extended. I still was pretty flexible. The one thing that started to kind of change, as like, for instance, girls, like I didn't allow boys in the house as you guys were younger. And then we started having, I think the first one was Denim and her sister are about 3.5 maybe years apart. And so oh my gosh, so one of Denim had many friends or whatever, and the topic came up about her having a boy over, and it's just a thing I was against, just because I don't like having to police them. Like, I knew the kids were around, I would talk to them when I'm, in and out of my office or my room or whatever. And so Tricia was in a relationship, and so she was in college at this time, and her guy friend had come by the house. And so now Miss Denham thinks that because Cece's friend came by the house now, right, that her friends should come by the house. He
was at the house. Forget if he was by it. He was at the house. He was in the house.
Okay, Tone. Okay. So Denham feels at that point, now granted they're 3 years plus apart from each other, that now she should be able to have company as well. So we went back and forth with that for a while, and then at some point I did allow it, and of course I had to hear from Cece like, you didn't allow that when I was her age, and Denim is just, always, she always gets this and that and da 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 da. So I did have to deal with that. It was things like, yeah, okay, you need to be in my living room, not in the bedrooms. Preferably it would be a group of girls, if a boy was there, and a couple, had come by. So typically the boundary was at that point. I don't know, what were we at now? Junior year in high school?
Senior year, right. Senior year. So we kind of stretched it pretty good, I would say. Yeah. But my preference was public spaces. I think at one point somebody had came and they had went to the room, and I'm like, no, not the bedroom, not the door closed, not the bedroom, no. And a lot of times I would just tell them to go out. There were like public spaces, like a public balcony or something like that, versus sitting in the house, just because I think cozying up in the house can be a dangerous place to be cozied up and to get comfortable in. It can be.
So there were some. So up until that point, it was no boys allowed in the house. And then once I did, then the boundary was they needed to be in an open common space.
But wait, I want to touch on why there was no boys, or for Neil, no girls allowed in the space that Mom told me years ago, and it still resonates with me to this day. My mama told me that when you let people like into your home, it's your safe space. So let's say you break up with the dude or the girl, whatever, you sitting here crying, you looking around the house, you like, dang, he was here too, oh my god, like da-da-da-da. And then your home doesn't feel like a safe space. Now it feels like a reminder of what the relationship was and what y'all did in the home. So she did that not only to protect, what could have happened, it could have, happened in the house, but she did it to protect us, like, emotionally. Because honestly, she was right. Like, she was right. I totally, with the high school boyfriend, I had that. Like, we had our breakup after like maybe like 1.5, 2 years. And when I went back and I saw my room back at home when I visited back from college, like, I was so sad in that room because I was like, oh my god, like, we were here, we would kick it, and it just got sad. When I was at college, I was away from the home. I didn't even think about it as much, honestly. Like, I didn't, because I wasn't so consumed in it. So that's also very important. And
why she would think about him in her room, I'm gonna side eye that.
Girl, boo. Okay. So since you just want to tell half the story,
I didn't tell any of the story. You told half the story, but you made mention of it. So
half the story. You said half the story because at some point, I'm waiting. Okay, actually, yes, I know what it was, y'all. Here's the tea. Here's the scoop. Come closer. So, BSU. I was the president of BSU. I was the show director, as one of 3 show directors as well. We had a show. My little boo was acting in it. We had spent a lot of time together doing that. Whatever. I came back because I was driving. He was not driving at the time. I had been driving since I was 15 legally. So I was driving. He had came back. Mom was there. TT Mandy was there. Not to touch on TT Mandy, but they was there. And I think TT Glinda was there. And I think I called my mom. But I was like, Mom, can I think I asked first if he can come over. Then we was over. And I was like, Mom, it's late. And this was all not a lie. This is all genuine. Mom, I'm tired. I don't feel like driving him home. Can he please spend the night? My mom was like, ooh, I think it was really because my TTs was in town and she let it slide. And at this point now I was 18. But she was like, yeah. So she let it happen. The door was open, but my room was downstairs. But, you know, door was still open and stuff. But that's why I could think about him in the bedroom. Get your mind out the gutter, Miss Side Eye. Hello.
The comment was there. My mind naturally went there. So
No, I'm just saying, like
I'm just trying to give full perspective. Are there any other stories?
Yes. You on this episode or another episode?
Maybe another episode.
Thank
maybe
you.
Another episode. Okay.
Mark it. All right, Mama Bear. What is the line between healthy independence and outright rebellion? And how did you handle it when we crossed that line? Or how should a parent handle it when their teen crosses the line?
I don't think I had an experience of an outright rebellion with you all. No.
Yo, you did. Oh, you did.
Who rebelled?
Me.
When did you rebel?
It's always the baby. Mom, you don't remember this story? Y'all, come back in. Y'all, get your snacks, get your tea, get your coffee. I got the tea, I got the scoop.
Apparently, I've suppressed all these events. And what's occurred?
No, y'all. So, Mom, okay. When we were in LA, some weekends, Mom would go see her bookie. So cool. One of these weekends, I was just feeling it. I guess because she had already let him sleep over one time before. I just figured we could do it again. So I get my little boo, and I told my little boo to come over, and spend the night, whatever. Next morning, y'all, mind you, I have my mom's location. She has mine. I'm literally watching her, just like zoom. I don't know, she's low-key speeding, but she's getting back to the house pretty fast. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get up soon to take him home before she gets back. So y'all, I get up maybe 15 minutes later. As soon as I get out the door, I get on the elevator, I go down, me and him, we just laughing again. I'm thinking I'm just successful. As soon as I open the elevator doors open, y'all, guess who was right there with a smirk on her face? My crazy mother. And y'all, to make this even worse, my mom handles the situation just how she told y'all before. Like, she didn't say a thing. She didn't go off on me. She just smirked, got in the elevator, and went upstairs. Then I came, y'all. Before I got home, I got my mom Starbucks because I already knew what it was. I got her favorite drink. I walked back in the house. I said, Mom, I'm really sorry. Yeah, for real, I was sorry. I was sorry I got caught. But I was even more sorry that I did it because the look on that lady's face. And yeah, we had to talk.
I'm glad you apologized because I know you were sorry you got caught. We know that.
But yeah, that was definitely an outright rebellion.
That was a rebellious moment, but I don't think like over time where I've had a thing where you're constantly
no
being like that. Yeah. So yes, Denham definitely was a child that challenged me in regards to crossing lines. I'll put it like that, crossing lines. But again, this was like another one of those post conversations. And I don't know, I do feel like whenever we had those conversations that you at least gained an understanding of where it is I was coming from. And then, I'm not foreign to things that teens do. So, and I can't even say that I'm going to say I understand. I remember being 18. But I also remember my because I said so. And I remember why I said that. And so, again, I had an opportunity to speak with her about that. And, a lot of that stuff to me comes down with women and young girls is, I'm your mom. So if you're allowing that to happen, you're allowing him to be disrespectful of my wishes and my home for you. and to an extent is disrespectful of you if he knows why and understands why I don't want it, and for him to go ahead and do that, and for you to go ahead and feel that way for yourself. It's like, would he want that for his little sister?
Right.
Then why does he think that that's okay for you?
Right.
To experience, so that's kind of the standpoint I was coming from. And that really kind of gets down to girls understanding, like, respecting their space, respecting their boundaries, why they should respect their parents' wishes, and that sort of thing.
They should respect themselves.
They should absolutely respect themselves.
Like,
they should
honestly.
absolutely respect themselves. So yeah, so that's more so where I was coming from, with them at this point now. I know the next year she's off to college, and whatever activity she's going to participate in, she is. But in her, however that happens in her own space, that's another discussion or whatever. But ultimately, it's like, what is the goal here? What is the ultimate goal here? And understanding your own self-worth, and understanding self-respect, respect of space, and definitely respect of my house. So now is the part where we talk about real life scenarios. So, Denim, scenario 1. Ding, ding, ding.
I'm ready.
All right. Your teen wants to move out and live on their own, but you're not sure they're ready. How do you approach this conversation, and what steps should they take to prepare?
You're never ready unless I guess you are really ready, but in reality you're never ready. Fun fact, I wasn't gonna go to Atlanta for college. I would have stayed in LA and had did it like that, and there's something wrong with staying home for college. But my point is that when you leave, that's a whole other step to like independency and like freedom, I guess, living on your own, adulting, all of it. What I would say as far as approaching a conversation, I probably would break down a budget. Like, ideally, even if they have most of the time freshmen have meal plans. Okay, they're not going to want to eat that every day. So ask them, like, what are your weekly expenses? What do you pay for even on an Apple subscription? We all somehow have 3 or more things on our Apple subscriptions, magically. But what's on that? But this is important because your budget is important, because you're going somewhere. You're probably not going to work a job that first year. So with the budget that you do have, that the parent is probably allocating, towards their child, okay, where's all your money going? Do you have enough money left to go to parties? Do you still have enough money left for food, shopping, whatever you want to do? Break down the budget to them. And lastly, y'all, after the conversation, after you've had those things, tell them, what they can expect. Tell them how they can be laced, all those, crazy things. Once you get past that, and you're done talking to them, y'all need to hold hands and pray together. Pray, because the next couple of years, y'all, it's gonna be something. But really, more so, you want your child to know that whatever they're going through, even if it's like a financial situation, that they can come to you about that. That's the most important thing. I don't have this adulting thing figured out, but what I do have figured out is that my mama will have my back regardless, and I can talk to her about anything.
And if that's what your situation. I would say though, the thing that I may have missed, I feel like you guys were, good with budgeting. You know how to keep a house. You guys can be a little extra with your grocery shopping sometimes, but you know how to reel it in and do a budget shopping if you have to. But what I would say is that you have to prepare. A thing I feel like I missed is teaching them to say no.
Ooh, that's good, Mom. That's good.
So I feel like a lot of times kids, when they're adulting, they feel like they have to go from a teenager to adulting like their parent.
Yeah.
Right? And I've held a lot of scenarios down. I've held a lot of people down. I have, taken care of children, my bonus children, who I've always loved dearly, and, tried to provide a place or a safe space with that. And that is me as an adult with all that I've been through, and having the ability to. But sometimes our kids take on certain personas of ourselves, and that's a part of me that my kids have taken on, and to their own detriment. So sometimes when you do that, and sometimes people take advantage, and sometimes they don't purposely realize that they are, but they are, to where it's not even respecting their space. So, sometimes my kids are advocates for like their friends or this or that. And they have to also realize that you're leaving yourself in an unprotected space, which then you leave me in an unprotected space, because whatever you have, you worked hard for, or whatever I've given you for you. And, you're taking that blessing, and when somebody else really is shitting on that, then they're shitting on that. They're shitting on whatever I am doing for me, or whatever you is doing for you. That's my take on it. But they play the intercessor in these situations, and I feel like it's okay as a temporary thing, but you're not at the point where you can hold it down how I was able to hold certain things down. And it's okay, and you're not supposed to be at that point in life right now.
Yeah.
So I would say that part, I think you need to instill in your kids that it is levels to this. It is levels to adulting. It is levels to adulthood. And they're just starting out as young adults, and not to be taking on the burdens of others so much. Be a friend, but make sure that friend is being a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Mark it. Scenario 2. Your 18-year-old tells you they don't need to follow any house rules anymore because they're an adult. How do you handle the situation without causing conflict?
Well, let me just say, I would never go into my mama's house and tell my mama what rules of hers I will and I will not follow. This is coming from Denim Nicole. I would never do that. That's just me, though. Yeah, to all my teens, to all my 18-year-old who think that they're grown, to all of my people who think that they're grown. Our parents have just made so many sacrifices for us. They've done so much for us. Most importantly, though, they've taken care of us. And even those who, y'all probably butted heads, y'all probably didn't get along great. I think regardless, with anybody's home that you're in, you need to be respectful. I have my own home now, so I can be a testament to say that if somebody came in my house and they weren't being respectful, I would feel disrespected, and therefore, one of two things are going to happen. We're going to get into an argument, you're going to leave, or I'm going to put the pause on you and you're still going to leave. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with one, not two. But my point to this is just to say that you have to kind of put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if you had your own home, somebody came in saying that they didn't need to follow your rules, and they're staying with you, eating your food, paying the bills every time you flush the toilet, paying the bills every time you want to turn the air down to 70, and I'm that one who turns it down to 70. So I'm just saying, and that's in that scenario, all teens, put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if this was you? Would you still feel like you're justified, or would you feel like you're being disrespected? I'm pretty sure you would go with the second one. So it kind of goes back to what we learned when we were kids. Treat people how you want to be treated. And my mama has treated me with the utmost respect, even as her child. And she didn't have to, but she did. So, yeah, I would say that. I would say treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And I would say, follow them rules.
Yeah, I would absolutely say if they feel like they don't need to follow the rules, that means that they are no longer living in my house. So my house, my rules. And that's just that. If there won't be any conflict, because any conflict means that you've found some other means of shelter or something like that. So these things go without question for me. I don't expect any conflict in regards to that. If you feel you're that responsible or that on it, or you can determine these things, then you can do that on your own. Those are that is just that's how I do. So, and even, I honestly still expect some respect with my kids in their home, even though it's their home to some extent. Like, that's a matter of things like cleanliness, I guess you could say, still, that's still a honoring of me as well. Yeah. So, I expect them to handle the business in the home that they're in that's separate from mine. So it's just important that these things carry on. I think that not only do they build character and make your young adult a better person, there are additional benefits to things like that, such as clarity. From cleanliness, you get clarity. And, ultimately, it's just a way to start good habits for your young adult. All right. So we have our audience Q&A. So for our audience, we would like for you to share your own story of your teens trying to act grown, right? How did they handle it? How did you as a parent handle it? And what advice you would have for others?
Yes, let us know. DM us, message us. We really want to know. All right, and we are finally at the wrap-up question. Wrap-up.
I like that.
All right, Mommy. So what's your best piece of advice for parents dealing with teens who believe that they are grown as ever, before they are ready for full independence?
I would say, first, you can remind them that they are not grown. However, that we will work to get you there. And we are working to get you there. I would outline the items that show that they're grown. One of the big items being that they can pay for all the invoices themselves. That's one sign that they are grown. And then that they are doing responsible things. So whether they have a vehicle, that they're taking care of that, or if they're taking care of their room, their space, and if they're being responsible with their time. So there will be certain things that we would look at that establish being grown or being adulthood. And I would also remind them that once you become an adult, you are forever an adult. That, is not something that you should be rushing into, because you will spend a majority of your life in that space.
Yes.
So I think it's important to build up the kids over time. And it's more important to show the kids that they are competent, right? It is more important to show the kids that they are competent, because competence is what brings about confidence in our children. So I think it's important more so to build it up and let them know that they are capable of doing things on their own. And then once they establish the confidence with that, I think all of that leads to the maturity that then leads to what ultimately becomes adulting.
For all my parents dealing with, teens who believe that they are just so grown, y'all, that's probably bad advice, but let them be grown. I'm a firm believer in, the universe working how it works. What you put out, you get back. And sometimes with some of these decisions that they may think are grown decisions, they will see the repercussions, of these decisions. And then at that point, they'll come to you, because they would have then realized that they're not grown, or they're not ready to deal with everything that comes with being grown. To all my teens listening, being grown, you're not missing anything. You don't know how bad I miss nap time. Just take a nap. Take a nap. Because when you get older, those naps cost. I could have been up. I was asleep that hour. I could have been up working. I could have been up doing something else. You know what I'm saying? But that now pays. Back then, though, come on. No. There's nothing to rush into. Just enjoy your life. As my mama would say, enjoy your life. Take your time. Because it's coming. Trust. It's coming. And what's crazy is you're younger for a shorter amount of time than you're grown. I promise. So, that's my advice.
Oh man, what a great episode. What a great episode. Look, we all learned a lot in this one, even I did. So, as I said before, we are all learning as we go, and we are learning as we grow, right? So exactly. I hope you guys enjoyed your episode today.
Yes, and if you guys like what you heard, follow us on all platforms at the BISS podcast, and share this podcast with a new mommy or maybe someone who just needs to hear this.
And as always, tune in every Wednesday for a new topic. And if your child ever wants to question your parenting, we tell them what? Bis please. Hey, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Because I said so.